Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Pep Talk on the Joe Maxwell Show. I am your host, Joe Maxwell. On the first segment of today's episode, we will be talking about identifying your gift. Most people never really find the true unique gift, either because they don't recognize they have one, they don't know they have one, they don't believe they have one, they haven't attempted to find it, or they don't recognize it. Today, I am joined by two amazing women who have turned what I call the unique gift into success by being passionate about nurturing and working on it. Before I welcome them today, take a good look at who they are. Join me as I welcome into the studio Chinelo Bally, one of the finalists on BBC Greatest British R&B. She's also an author of freehand fashion and a blogger. Also with us is Aderiyike Makinde, an accountant and CEO of Travel Conzult, family holiday and group travel consultant. Hi guys.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having
You're looking amazing, Aderiyike. I'm loving the Cleopatra look. Yes, you're serving us today. Thank you so much for joining us today. Chinelo,
hey,
how are you?
I'm good.
That dress is really snatching the waist. Like, you're going to have to pass that dress over. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks
I hope you guys are good.
Yes,
so we're about to have some fun today. Hope you guys are ready.
Yep.
Right then, so on the topic of identifying your gift. Now I know, because I know both of you guys, so I definitely know there's something behind you starting your business, your travel consultant business, and also there's got to be something behind this sewing thing. You can't just be that, you know, I was born sewing. Nobody was born.
I came out of the womb with a sewing machine.
So I'm just going to go quickly to you, Aderiyike. What's your understanding when people talk about gift? What's your definition of a gift?
Well, I think a gift is something that comes easily to you.
Right.
So it's something you're passionate about doing, something you're really interested in, and it's something that you also have the skills and ability to be able to deliver on. So you might have the passion to do something. If you don't have the skills and the training, you know, to bring it to reality, then it won't work. So first of all, you have to identify what your gift is, what you're good at, what, you know, your strengths are in a particular thing.
We're going to come back to how to identify your gift, because that's a very key thing. I'm just going to pass over to you, Chinelo. Do you agree? Have you got anything to add to in terms of being able to?
Agree.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
okay, brilliant.
I just think that your gift, like she said, is something that comes easily to you, because a lot of times it's just something, you know, okay, you do so easily, and like people would be saying to you, oh, you're really good at this, you're really good at that, and it's not anything that you put any effort towards.
Into it.
Like she was saying again about training, that's something that comes afterwards to sort of further harness your gift, but definitely something that comes easily to you.
So are we agreeing, because people often say you're born with your gift, so is that a valid statement?
I think it is. I think you are, to an extent, I think you might be born with a natural ability, or, you know, you just lean towards something, or you're just highly skilled in something, but, you know, getting the training to further actually perfect that skill or to perfect that gift is that's another side of it. But I think it's something that you can be born with, because I mean, parents, they often identify things that their kids are really good at from young. So I think that's something that, you know.
Brilliant. So how do you, sort of just taking us slightly into that, so I know that you guys have, you know, businesses that you're doing, and I'd like to believe that it's a combination of your gift and passion perhaps. How were you able to identify your gift, or what, you know, so I don't know what the gift is, for example. I'm just going to pass on to you, Aderiyike. How did you identify that you have a gift in a certain way for you to be able to do what you're doing at the moment?
Okay, for me, obviously, it's through commendations from people. So from a young age, I was always passionate about travel. I believe that we were born into this world, and we
explore the world.
We have to explore the world. So travel has always been one of my greatest passion, and obviously from interactions and relationships with people, people have come to realize that I am kind of knowledgeable about places, and I'm also very good at pointing out how to have fun, you know, and how to make the best out of traveling. So it kind of just fell on me. I was always being the one chosen to plan group activities, you know, plan traveling. And I thought, okay, since I'm doing this as a hobby, I might as well up the game and try it out as a business.
That's a good way of going into it. But I hear that you're passionate about traveling, but what do you think your gift is in developing your passion, helping to sort of create that?
Okay, I think the key gift here is organization.
Right, okay.
So little snippets. You invite me to a party, you say 7 and I'm there by 6:30.
Oh yeah, we know you.
Yeah, but then I also have I think why I didn't go into maybe proper event planning and decoration is that maybe the creativity. So I don't have that creativity bit of it. But in terms of traveling, oh my, I have.
You can travel for the whole world.
Yes,
we know
I
that.
Can travel,
we know that.
Do everything.
Brilliant.
You know, so that's why I think my strengths are really good.
So you've been able to sort of put together the fact that you like organizing and your passion for traveling, and you'll be able to bring it together. That's amazing. That's amazing. Good. Chinelo, over to you. So how did you identify because you're doing lots of things, not just. You know, it's not just sewing. You're a blogger. You wrote a book, girl. I need to tap your brain how to write, because I need to write a book. Well, if I can read a book, maybe I can write one. So how have you been? Because there are lots of things. So how did you identify your gift?
I've always been very good with my hands.
Right.
From very as far back as I can remember. I've always been very creative, very good with my hands. And my mum's always like, "Oh, your wealth is in your hands. Your wealth is in your hands."
That's good. That's
I've
positive.
always known that whatever I'm going to end up doing in life is going to have to be something creative, because I love to create and I just have an eye for it. So that was how I discovered, because it's just something that, like she said, came easily to me, and it's something that everybody around me picked up. Oh, you're really good with your hands, or you're really good. I tried my hands at so many things. I did hair, I did cakes, I did so many different things. Anything creative, I was there.
Yeah, you get in there.
But when I found sewing, that for me was like the ultimate passion, because I love fashion and I love creating and I love making women feel amazing. You know, so that was for me. It just fit.
So for me, it's a bit of I'd say a bit of a give or take. So as a child, I remember from year 1 in primary 1 back in Africa, my teachers always had on my report, she talks too much. She talks too much. She talks too much. I think when I got to like year 3, they started changing that talk too much, because I could then read the report to she's too friendly. She's too friendly. She needs to turn down a little bit. She needs to be more focused in class. She talks too much, you know.
But here you are today.
And here I am today, right? I am still talking, and I'm still talking. So I guess, you know, we're right in saying that we're born with it, where I don't think any parent would appreciate the fact that your child talks too much is a gift. So I think, you know, again, we need to understand, we need to have our quiet times where we really try to sort of go into what the true gifts are. So I've got 3 things that I just want to leave us with today. In terms of identifying our childhood, we've got to always revisit our childhood. Chinelo, you did mention that your mom did say that, you know, everything you sort of dabble into with your hands, it just flourishes, it blossoms. You also mentioned, Aderiyike, that compliments from people. So definitely compliments for people, and I think Chinelo, you kind of went into that a little bit as well. So compliments for people is really key. If you do know that someone is doing great in a particular area, honestly, when you give compliments, it doesn't make you any less of a person. So just try to encourage people by complimenting and telling them what they're doing great. So one final question, guys, just before we sort of round up. At what point do you sort of say to yourself that I need to stop chasing this particular gift because it's not working for me? So we always sort of say, oh, it's your gift going to something, but we've got to think about the monetary aspect as well, because you're putting money into doing something. At what point do you say to yourself, enough is enough? I need to get to a certain, you know, time, and then I cut it because it's not working for me.
I think with a gift, really, there's never a time you give up on it, because it's you. It's, you know, that is the essence of who you are. So even though you might not be making money from it, you get in the most extreme pleasure from doing it. So you don't really give up on it, even if you're not making money. It's still a part of you.
Okay, so if you're not making money, it's still part of it, but you need to still make money, right, to be able to survive.
Yeah.
So I think, personally, I hear what you're saying, but I'm a bit of a realist as well. So I need to be making money from this gift. So it depends on if it's something that you're just doing as a hobby, then you know, okay, I'm never gonna. But you made a point earlier on by saying you have to go into yourself, you know. So, for instance, my problem was I know that I can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, so it was finding that one thing that I'll be able to build my life on, you know, and that would be able to, I'll get something out of it, you know. So my gift is still there. My creativity is still there. Your organization is still there. Do you understand? But you could, like you said, you could have gone into event organizing, but you didn't do that because why? You didn't have the creativity to follow that up. So that wouldn't have worked for you. Now, I tried my hands at different things. Cake, there was no money in it for me as far as I was concerned. It was, how much am I going to make off of that? But some people are able to turn it into multi-million-pound businesses, but I couldn't foresee that. You know, so when I started fashion and really gave it my heart, went into it, I have plans for it. I can see the future for it. I know where I want to be in the next 5, 10.
You've created milestones.
Do you see what I mean? I know what I'm doing with it.
Milestones,
exactly.
And then, you know, by the end of 6 months, I need to achieve this. Yes, I've achieved that, and you kind of just grow into it. Okay,
so where my gift is, yes, my gift. I will never give up on my gift, but I might have to, you know, keep. It's like if you've got a business plan, you have to keep tweaking things just to, you know, to get to the final point. So I know where I want to be, and my gift is going to take me there. But I need to make sure that I'm on the right track with my gift.
That's very valid. That's amazing. That's amazing. Hopefully, you guys have been able to pick 1 or 2 things from what Chinelo and Rika said about identifying your gift and how you can sort of work on it and make sure you bring it to success. Remember, you've got to always mix that with a passion. It's like a gift without a passion, to me, it's a dead one, really. So everyone has a unique gift, something that's undeniably you and is precisely useful to those around you. Remember, we talked about 4 things, albeit all scattered during the conversation, about how to identify your gift. You always have to go back to your childhood. It's called revisiting your childhood. Your parents probably will tell you what exactly it is that you love doing as a child. Notice where your energy level is during the day. You can get a notepad and watch yourself within 30 days and say, at what point do I get excited and what is it I'm talking about in that particular time? That's probably where your gift lies in. It might be in organization, it might be in planning, whatever it is. Don't just look on the surface. There's a lot more to it. The fact that you're organized does not mean you can jump into any business. You've got to really think deeply in terms of what truly you need to do, because you've got to make money out of these things sometimes. 4th and not the last, but not the least, is notice where your compliments come from. Honestly, I kid you not, that for me is probably the most important. You always have to know and understand where people are saying to you, you're doing great at this, you're the best at this, you're the best. That's where your gift lies in. That's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will be back on our next segment. We'll be talking about why black women struggle more with domestic violence. I think that's an important topic. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Black women are almost 3 times likely to experience death as a result of DV than white women. And whilst black women only make up 8% of the population, 22% of homicides are as a result of DV. And this happens to black women. That is a staggering percentage. What really leads to DV? So with us today is our lovely Chinelo Bally and Aderiyike Makinde. Now let's chop it off, ladies. Now, Chinelo, I know that you are passionate about this particular topic. When it comes to DV, you just want to go in there. So I guess my next question is, what leads to domestic violence?
Okay, I think there isn't one generic answer, or there isn't one thing that leads to DV. But what I choose to focus on whenever I'm confronted with that, what is it that leads to DV? I think it's somebody who doesn't know how to control their feelings. I won't even go as far as saying they don't know how to control their feelings, but they are using their strengths in the wrongest ways possible. Because I feel you can control yourself, because if you couldn't control yourself, why didn't you kill the person? You took them to a point and then you stopped because you know how to control yourself. You know. But what I think it is that that person, obviously, you don't know how to communicate. You have a problem with communication. Because if and it could be the man or the woman, whoever hits, because I don't agree with violence on either side. You know, but if you feel that the way to resolve a conflict is to resort to violence, then
That
there's
doesn't work,
something wrong with you.
as
So
an individual.
I know in our community we hear people saying, I mean, one of the first questions that would be asked to a woman who has experienced such a thing at the hands of her husband would be, what did you do? That irritates me.
It does.
Because I just feel like, what could she have
done? There is no explanation
excuse.
for
There
it.
is no
Yeah,
excuse.
absolutely.
I know some women can be provocative. Yes, I get it, but you still have no right to hit that person because it was
Absolutely.
their mouth they were using.
Yeah.
So if you felt like, okay, you're getting to a certain point, you have to be able to step back, because if you were outside, for instance, someone is provoking you, you wouldn't turn around and hit them. You'd step
Absolutely.
back, or you step away from the situation, or you'd know how to dissolve that situation.
yeah,
but why
pretty
do you
much.
then have to resort to violence?
That's true. I don't. You know, I often say to people, regardless of what I do, it doesn't allow or give you the permission to hit me. So I'm just going to go over to Aderiyike. Why don't we report domestic violence as black women? Why don't we report that we're going through
All right.
DV?
I think the key thing is that culturally we don't tend to report anything to the police, anyways. So that's the first one.
But why? Why don't we?
Yes, because from where we're coming from, for me, from Nigeria, the police don't tend to do anything. So you tend not to report. You try to resolve your issues at home with family. So with DV, it's the same thing. You try to resolve it with friends, family, your pastors in church. So that's the key thing. But I think coming to this country now, people are now realizing that, well, you do have a friend in the police and you do have that support system that you can go and report. And the only thing inhibiting or stopping people is what people will say. So I think once you have a good network of people around you and you don't listen to what people will say, then you'll be more enabled, more encouraged to come out and speak. So you have to get right people around you, to encourage you and to ensure that you are well exposed as well. Because some people live here
and they still don't know what to do.
Nigeria.
Pretty much. Chinelo, I'm just going to pass over to you. So, do you sort of know someone who's been through DV before that you can sort of share a bit of their experience and perhaps how they were able to sort of get out of that, and perhaps that sort of leads us to the next step?
So many women who've been through domestic violence, some very close to home, some friends. I'll share two stories. I have one friend who, we grew up together, secondary school, everything, so close. She's one of the people that I look at and I just feel she's so strong. Whilst we were in school, she knew what she wanted. She knew, this is what I want, and she had landmarks already. She was getting everything. She bought her first house at 19. She was just, that girl that was just, I want this, I get this, it's done. So we hadn't spoken in a long time, and I remember speaking with her, oh, what's going on, this, that and the other. One of her marriages has fallen and she had gotten married again and had another divorce. I was like, what's going on, what's happening, why is this happening? And she explained her situation to me and told me that it was due to domestic violence. And as she spoke, I was just listening and thinking, is this the same girl that I know? This girl who's so full of life, who's so strong. When you think of a strong woman,
person, you're thinking such could never happen to them.
I just had to ask her, why did you stay? Because she was in it for I think she was there for about 2 years, and I asked her, why did you actually stay? And she said to me, because it was easier to stay.
Oh wow!
He had used love to stop her from working. Moved her away from where her family was, from where her friends were. They were living somewhere out in the sticks, just the two of them, in a community she wasn't familiar with, so there's no friends. So just literally, he had isolated her and removed her from work, so she had no money of her own. So now he was in charge, and then the beating started. And I was asking her what happened the first time. They were having an argument and he slapped her. She said it was like, it wasn't even real. It was almost like, did that really just happen?
So I guess that's a very... good. That's a very, very valid thing you've just said. At what point do you say to yourself, enough is enough? He slapped you once. And then, you often think, oh, maybe that was a mistake. That was maybe because I sort of caused some sort of reaction. At what point is enough? Aderiyike, over to you.
I think really it's down to the person to know when enough is enough. And like she said, this person is a strong person. She couldn't believe it happened to her. But I think it tends to happen to the strong people because they have this image that they are trying to protect. So they don't tend to speak out. So I think for someone to realize that, oh, enough is enough, and I have to, make decisions, take a stand, I think they really, really have to search deep down within themselves, especially when they're isolated and they don't have that network. So it's harder. They have to have that self-belief and confidence that, they can get through it.
Right.
They can leave.
So what are sort of the signs that we can look out for? So how do we know? So how do you know as an individual person that you're going through domestic violence? And how would I acknowledge, or understand, or see somebody and know, what are the signs to look out for to know, I think Chinelo is going through, obviously Chinelo isn't, but to identify that the other person might be going through some emotional or DV issues?
Okay, so because the term DV is so broad, it doesn't just cover physical. Yeah. I think that we have to be careful how we, especially when it comes into a marriage situation, one has to be careful how we throw it around.
Pretty much.
Especially when physical hasn't started or when it's not happening. When you have, there are instances of aggression, there's instances of, financial issues or whatever. Now you know what the setup is in your home, you know how it works in your family, you know your man, you know your woman, yeah? But there is a point where it starts going beyond the point, the boundaries of, okay, we're having an argument here, things have just, when it now becomes like a psychological,
pretty much,
you're tormenting me psychologically, then you should need to start seeing that something is not right here, something is not sitting. Listen to yourself. How do you feel? If you don't like what is happening, have you confronted the situation? Have we spoken about it? Okay, you're using these words. We come from Nigeria. Yeah, I'm Nigerian, for instance. And you hear, in the domestic situation, you hear people call each other names and things like that. Now, I hate name calling. I don't call anybody names. And I really just don't like to be called any sort of name, But then you might have a situation where someone has grown up in a household where that's a normal thing for them. When things are heated, they call each other names. Now, someone who hasn't come from that might look at that and be like, oh gosh, am I going through abuse here? Do you understand? We have to give room for things like that, where you are understanding someone's background, or where, but but even with that, you don't have to accept it. Let's talk about it. I don't appreciate what's going on. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Okay, how are we going to confront this situation? If it's something that is going to persist, you're not going to back down. You're not going to try to understand from where I'm coming from, where you're actually being abusive here. Then those are where we just have to, because the lines can be quite.
I agree. I think there are lots of signs that we can look out for. If you know somebody, for example, who is constantly very active, and all of a sudden they've kind of changed in their pattern or the way they behave. Like you said, it's a bit of a sensitive one where you just kind of assume. But I think sometimes when we probe and try to sort of show that, okay, I think I'm taking a little bit of an interest in you, more often than not, you can almost tell when people are going through challenges in life, is what I would say. So, right, just whilst we're on the topic of the fact that we don't speak as black women, we also need to understand that we're not just talking about it. We need to be able to create the awareness. We need to be able to let people know that when you're going through DV, these are the key things that you need to be aware of. These are the key things that you need to do.
When you start noticing signs of depression, you're not taking part in activities that makes you happy, then you should try and speak out early so that it doesn't degenerate to something else.
Speaking out is an interesting one. Over to you, Chinelo. What would you sort of give to our viewers?
I'd say that if you find yourself in a situation where you're going through domestic violence, it's really, really important that you speak out and ask yourself, why do I continue to stay in this situation? If it's a thing where, and when you're able to answer that question to yourself truly, what can I do to better my situation so I don't have to remain in this situation? A lot of times some women are financially dependent on their abuser, so what do I need to do to bring myself out of that situation where I'm not financially dependent on this person anymore? Or sometimes you hear people saying, oh, I stay because I love this person. But that obviously means you don't love yourself. Because if you're staying with somebody who is abusing you, especially physically, you know, because I know the other abuse are important, definitely, you know, but I think that those are things that we can still work through. But once it gets to a point where you're hitting somebody, life is at stake here. So if you're staying with somebody who is physically abusing you, why am I staying? Okay, is it because I'm saying I love them? Then don't I love myself enough to break away from this situation? Exactly. Yeah. So then if those are the situation, find why am I staying and address those situations so you can actually move on with strength and you break away from that situation.
Yeah.
Right, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, that's good nuggets. And I'm just going to add by saying we need to continue speaking out. And social media has become a valuable tool in helping victims to share their stories and learn about resources that can help. We need to push for stronger laws that punish criminal abusers. We definitely need to get ourselves away from the stigmatization of I don't want to tell because they wouldn't listen to me or they wouldn't trust me or the justice is not going to be on my part. We need to get out of that psyche and we need to believe that our lives matter as women. As black women, I'd say our life matters first. So guys, thank you so much for joining us today. There's one more thing that we need to do before you vroom off the studio is we need to know what your pet peeves are. Yes, so over to you, Chinelo. We want to know because our viewers want to. Oh yeah, I know Chinelo. Oh, so the next time I meet her, I'm not giving her a hug because we don't know what you're. So yes, let us know what's your pet peeves.
I hate disloyalty.
Okay.
I can't stand people that are not loyal.
Right.
It's a real for me.
Yeah. And
you got to be loyal.
Yeah. What does mean? What does it? Well, you know, how does it make you feel?
I just can't stand it. I can't deal with people who are disloyal, and I can't stand people that are overly materialistic. You know, like people that just base all their value on the bag they're carrying or the shoe they're wearing. I can't deal.
Yeah.
I really can't deal with that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. How about you, Rika?
Yeah, I think you know mine already.
Yeah.
Lateness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like me.
You get to a party and you're like, oh my god, all right. When are they starting? You know, they're just arranging the chairs and people around you, and when things are not, you know, tidy and tidiness.
We are going to try to almost listen to you, but maybe sometime we want you to sort of be the little bit of the African that we have. So how about you meet us in the middle? Because girl, you're always on time.
Yeah, but my friends know me, so when they're organizing
stop giving you the real time now.
Yeah, they give me, there are two times, the Ricky time and the real
time. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we all know that the planner definitely does not joke with time. So when she tells you your flight is at 9:30, you better be making sure that you get there 2 hours before. Right, and that's it. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for coming. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did.
We did.
That's it, right? Okay, that is it for us today on Pep Talk on the Joe Maxwell Show. Let us know your thoughts around why black women struggle more with DV. Leave us a comment on our social pages. Send us an email to info@joemaxwellshow.com. Log into our website and submit your story. Let us know your experience. Until next time, have a great week. I am your host, Joe Maxwell.